Now, of course, as you can tell, these are, TV movies from the TV show The Hulk that was on back in the 70s. I used to watch it as a kid in the 70s and early 80s. Pretty good show. Now, let's say, for argument's sake, you want to build a good villain. Of course, the Hulk was not a villain. And apparently, from what I've read, he was a villain at one time. That's how he started out. But anyways, you can look that up on YouTube. Please do. But anyways, let's say you want to create a villain for a movie, a video game, for anything else, movie, video game, TV show. You have this idea, you want to build a villain. Not a super villain, not a villain with superpowers or anything like that. A villain, a regular bad guy for your project. Alright, first off, if you notice in a lot of movies, like James Bond or Tomb Raider or whatever, your classic villain is generally going to have money. Usually it's not going to be some poor guy. It's going to be someone with money, a mobster, whatever. They're going to have money. They have to have some control over, things. And a good, bad, solid bad guy. Villain, because it can be a woman too. There are female villains, like that Catwoman movie. The villain was a woman. But, a good, solid villain can pretend to be good. To fool the weak-minded people. That way, they turn them against the hero. You tell them, the villain have the people believe that the hero's the bad guy. He or she's the monster. He's against you. He's evil and vile, or she's evil and vile. The hero is just a horrible, nasty person, hates you because of who you are, or whatever. But they can get people to believe that as they're sucking money from them and brainwashing them. And eventually a lot of people wake up to the villain at the end of the project. And by then it's pretty much usually going to be too late. They've already did a lot of bad things they wish they hadn't. They now screwed over the hero, and now they pretty much have to suck up to the hero, and the hero has to save them. And usually the hero's not one of those people that's going to hold a grudge, so the hero's going to help them. But we're not talking about building a hero. We're talking about building a villain. We can discuss the heroes a little bit. But your classic villain has to be able to do that. Has to be a good wolf in sheep's clothing. They themselves may even believe they are doing good. We won't name anybody in history that were like that, okay? But, people like that. Or, they think they're doing good, usually social justice. That's usually what they're going to pretend they're doing. And usually it's at the expense of someone else. That's usually what a villain's going to do. They want to build something on the expense of someone else. For themselves, usually. They're going to want to screw over others to build themselves an empire. They want to, they may come up with these horrible ideas, eugenics, genocide, things like that. A good villain has to come up with stuff like that. And of course, if it's money-making schemes, some villains, they're just trying to rip a bunch of people off, trying to steal a bunch of money, and we're talking about a lot of money. A good classical villain can do that. A good classical villain, I'll give you a good, not exactly an example because I'm going to make this up off the top of my head. Well, not exactly making it up because I was thinking about it throughout the day when this came to me. Let's call this villain Emily. Emily. The reason why I'm saying Emily, because that's actually one of my fake names I use usually in my games, because I like to create a female character, and I always name her Emily, because I kind of like that name. My other fake names are like, Michael, David, Jason, and a few others. But some unimportant. But her name is going to be Emily, in this case, Emily. Now, of course, she thinks she's doing good. She's, for rights of certain groups, but she kind of demeans others. A villain. She has to demean others to do it. She's a good villain. You remember, she's a villain. She lays into that stuff, and she has money. We'll say she has, I don't know, net worth in the billions. Why not? She may get her job through nepotism or whatever. But, she buys a tech firm because a lot of your villains notice are in charge of tech firms, pharmacies, and things like that, because that's how they can do their master plan. Well, this villain is going to be in charge of IT. There's like a video company, they allow you to upload your videos and people can watch it and people are making money off of it. and people are doing good. People are making decent money. You know, even people who aren't very good at making videos are still making some money, you know, to pay their bills, help them pay their bills. But, you know, this villain doesn't like this because, you know, like I said, a good villain, everyone has to agree with that villain. So this villain buys that platform, that video platform. And eventually, and this is diabolical, not just evil, but diabolical, because your villain has to be a true villain, and the true villain is diabolical. You know, James Bond type of villain. You know, creates their own like site on that video channel, and then basically demonetizes everyone else. And anyone that disagrees with this person demonetizes them. You don't want them to be making money. You want to make money. You're already rich, but who cares? You get richer, and of course you hide it by saying, "Well, we can't have, you know, differing opinions and hurting people's feelings and stuff like that." You pretend like you care about that stuff, and obviously people can see your actions and know that's not true. But you got to be a good villain. You then, of course, when that platform fails, you know, it collapses, loses a lot of money. Eventually it loses a lot of money. People jumping ship to other sites and everything, creating their own and all that stuff. What you got to do is you never take the blame. You blame those creators that built that company or built that platform. Because a true villain always takes credit for other people's successes and blames others for their failures. They also step on other people. Other people build a company up, they snatch it from them, like Kroc did to the McDonald brothers. And of course, some other villains, you know, making up. Because the Kroc guy is not made up. You know, you take that from them, then you know, make sure they can't make money. You know, they're not all that wealthy, and you want to make sure you get even more money and prevent these people who already aren't really that well off from getting any money at all, or maybe a little chump change. That's what you got. That's a villain. That's villainy. That's how you become a villain. Basically, like a Batman in reverse. A lot of these villains, if you think about it, they are Batman in reverse in a way. Because, you know, except for Batman is actually smart too. You know, Batman, you know, Bruce Wayne uses his money and his talents to help people, and he uses, you know, Bruce Wayne gives his money to charities and everything. And of course, at night he becomes Batman and goes after criminals. You know, a good villain obviously isn't going to do that, and a good villain is able to do what they do, and a person, you know, a Batman type, a good guy, a hero, can't touch them. You'll notice that even in a lot of these projects, you know, a lot of these good movies and video games, obviously I'm making all this up, right? Nobody's that bad like I just described. But, you know, all these projects, video games, movies, TV shows, the villain is in a place, like that Frisk guy, you know, there's Frisk and the, you know, the Daredevil fights Frisk and all that. You know, people like that, everyone thinks they're the good guy. You know, they're not. And you can't do, there's not a, they know how to keep their hands so clean that there's no way that you can prove to anyone that they are the bad guy. So of course, you know, the hero has to go behind the scenes to get rid of them or expose them, which a lot of times, in real life that does not happen, obviously. But in the movies and in your video games, obviously you're going to want that to happen. It doesn't have to. But sometimes people want to see the villain win. And sadly, in real life, the villain wins and takes a lot of innocent people with them. And as I was saying, the Hulk, these are pretty good though. These are like the movies, you know, you get the death of the Incredible Hulk. You got, you know, this is from Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. You got the Incredible Hulk Returns and the Trial of the Incredible Hulk. Your villain, now your hero is of course going to be a little different. Your hero is obviously a person that cares. A lot of times heroes come from a humble background. They're usually not rich, you know, like Spider-Man. And sometimes not even going to be that strong, you know, and they have to be clever and careful while they're being demonized and attacked constantly, you know, and while the bad guys, while the villain, you know, uses his or her minions to attack the heroes. In real life, there are no true heroes, but you know, that's what I'm talking about, movies and video games and TV shows and such, you know. Always be careful of people, you know. I'm just saying this hypothetically. And you want this to be in your movie and video game. Have a character say, you know, something along the lines. Always be careful of people who claim to know more no better than you. No better than you about life, about whatever. They gotta tell you how to live your life, especially when they're rich. When a rich person feels the need to tell you how to live your life. Now, let's face it, there's nothing more villainy. Like, for example, like as I mentioned, you set up your own channel on that video site and then demonetize everyone else, especially if they disagree with you or they might be a bit, what you call it, basically challenge people, But that's it. Be careful. But if you want to build your villain, remember my tips on building villains. Thanks. Bye.